Happy Teachers Day!
Happy Teachers Day!
Welcome everyone to this special episode of our virtual Teachers Day celebration.
We've known for centuries that teachers have played such a central role in the development of students as well as society because, teachers are the ones that teach, nurture, and train students who are the future of every country. So I think it is therefore rightly said that teaching is the one profession that creates all other professions.
That's true. Their contribution and efforts have been recognized globally. And so, since 1994, World Teachers Day is celebrated on the 5th of October.
Yeah, but the celebration of this International Day is not like the other International Day celebrations, mainly because most of the countries have their own different dates for celebrating Teachers Day. And I think part of the reason is because in most of these countries, the celebration stems from celebrating like a local educator or an important milestone in education for that country. So that's why, they have different dates and they give more importance to the celebration in their own country than to the International Teachers' Day.
Yes, that's true. Even in the case of India, since we are so deep-rooted in tradition and culture, we actually have a festival that's called Guru Purnima, which is dedicated to spiritual and academic teachers. Now, this festival is traditionally celebrated by Hindus, Jains, and Buddhists to pay their respects to their teachers and express their gratitude. The celebration is marked by ritualistic respect to the Guru, and it typically happens between June to July.
Yeah, but the birthday in India, it's actually quite peculiar that we celebrate Teachers' Day twice a year. Like you said, the first one is Guru Purnima, and the second one is today on the 5th of September, which is the birthday of our second president, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan.
Yeah.
He was a great scholar, So since 1962, his birthday has been celebrated as Teachers' Day in India. So, on this day, teachers and students in all schools in India or all Indian schools, they report to school as usual, but the usual activities in classes are replaced by activities of celebration, remembrance, thanks, etc.
Yes, I think generally celebrations in Indian schools have one thing in common, where they send senior students to junior classes and they act as
Oh, yes.
teachers, and they come dressed as teachers, and they host a variety of activities, and this is our way of showing our appreciation to our teachers. So I really remember fond memories of Teachers' Day.
Yes, me too. The Teachers' Day celebration used to be like a really fun event at schools because, like you said, the students, they would hold programs for the teachers in addition to activities and make gifts for them, etc. And just used to be such a fun time at school.
Yes, I really miss it.
Me too. So, this year, since given the current circumstances, we couldn't meet any of our former or current teachers in person like we usually do on the occasion of Teachers' Day. We decided to get in touch with them virtually instead. Now, just as everything else has moved online, we decided to take our Teachers' Day celebration online as well.
Yes, so as two pupils, we asked some of our teachers a bunch of questions, the answers to which we've always been curious to know, as we are sure so have you. So let's begin with the first question.
Yes, right away. Now, as a student, I can say with absolute confidence that we are not easy to deal with. Some of us are dumb, no offense. Some of us very mischievous, not at all sincere or serious about studies. And always pulling pranks and jokes in class.
But there are some good ones too, you know.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
So, teachers are the ones who have to deal with us every day. And of course, each teacher has her own reason for joining this profession. But I really want to know why, in spite of all this, teachers show up to class every single day, smiling and with the same energy. So, to answer this question, we asked Mrs. Ashwini Kulkarni, a secondary school maths teacher at Vidyashil Public School, Pune, what it is that she loves the most about teaching. So, let's hear what ma'am had to say about this.
Sakina, I will answer that question in 3 words: being with children. Interacting with young minds is the most exciting thing in teaching profession. I'm constantly learning in this field, and that keeps me young, energetic, and active all the time. I love helping them understand the content of the maths course, and I love when they see a connection between what they have been learning and their lives. I love it when students tell me that he or she hated maths and now they're beginning to like it. Having completed 3.5 decades of teaching, these things still excite me. My students are the reason I have always loved teaching and still do. I always loved to see students come back to meet me after many years have lapsed since I taught them. While teaching, there is never a dull moment, and the air is always vibrant with voices of students, that which is music to my ears. I cannot imagine a day without meeting or speaking with students. Apart from my regular maths classes, I enjoy conducting quizzes and debates for the students. It is such a pleasure to see students grow in knowledge and understanding. That joy is incomparable. I came into this profession by choice and not by chance. And after 35 long years of teaching, I must say I have no regrets. Thank you.
Ashwini ma'am, thank you for such a wholesome answer. I'm so happy to know that we students are what you love the most about your profession.
Yes, but now we want to know which student or which group of students in particular. Is it the attentive teacher's pet or the underrated but super mischievous backbencher? Let's listen to what one of our teachers have to say about this and also find out what kind of a student she was.
Hello, everyone. Today we celebrate the birthday of one of the great teachers of the Indian soil, Dr. Radhakrishnan. On this day, we pay tribute to our teachers. In the Indian society, the teacher is held in great reverence. We have the great epic like the Mahabharata, which narrates stories of the importance of the guru or teacher in the life of the pupil. Today, I not only pay tribute to my teachers, but as a teacher myself, thank God for this noble profession that He chose me to be in. On this occasion, podcast has asked my views on two aspects. Firstly, teacher's pet or the mischievous backbencher. Which one do you prefer as a teacher? Variety is the spice of life. The beauty of the bouquet lies in the fact that it is made up of different flowers which are carefully placed, securely wrapped, and held together with a beautiful ribbon. Similarly, a classroom becomes alive and active because of the presence of all kinds of students. The overactive one, the teacher's pet, the hard worker, the star, the intellectual, the outsider, the clown, The backbencher, the one who is clueless of what's going on, the nerd, and so on. Each one of these, in their own peculiar way, contribute towards the teaching learning process. They help in breaking the monotony that may sometimes creep in, and most importantly, challenge the teacher to use a variety of teaching styles to cater to their learning need. For a teacher, every child entrusted to her care is important, be it the smart one who is always punctual in all things, or the backbencher who is always cooking up some mischief. A teacher should be able to relate with each and every child, strike a chord with every student, thus creating a beautiful symphony. Teaching is one of the professions which deals directly with human beings, and what the student experiences under the teacher affects eternity. This makes the role of the teacher an important one, making it imperative for the teacher to be humane and always striving to bring out the best in the student. In a month's time, on October 5th, the world celebrates Teachers' Day. Let us keep our teachers in prayers that we may always be divinely guided to do our best and bring out the best from the students whom we teach. History is my subject, and I end with this quote. A teacher presents the past, reveals the present, and creates the future. Moving on to the second part of the question, what type of a student was I? The teacher's pet or the backbencher? Well, all I can say is that my school provided me with a strong foundation on which I built myself to what I am today. My teachers played a very important role in molding me and nudging me to give my best. Our late President APJ Abdul Kalam said, "The best brains of the nation may be found on the last benches of the classroom." I leave you with this quote to find for yourself what kind of a student was I. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you, Fatima, as well as Sakina, for this opportunity. God bless.
Well, that was an interesting response. Thank you so much, ma'am, for validating us backbenchers. We are truly honored.
Yes. Now, we know what makes a good day at school for students. For all students, it's just, getting a free period or getting pulled out of class for club activities or practices, etc. Or, when the teacher is absent or doesn't show up to class because she's stuck with some work.
Oh my god, yes.
But I'm really curious to know about our teachers, So let's listen to what Mr. Wilson John, an English teacher at the Vidyashil Public School, thinks makes a good day at school for him and teachers in general.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. As far as a good day for a teacher is concerned, I think first of all we need to look at what is a bad day. A day when I don't find my students receptive to the class. If they're not active in the class, if they're not responding, if they're not asking doubts, if they're just sitting over there casually, cold, that's a bad day for me. So looking at that, we can see that if a student, if not just a student, if all the students are energetic, highly active, responding, asking queries, questions to the teacher, answering the questions of the teacher, that makes quite an interactive session. An interactive session is what a teacher likes the most. Not just standing over there in the front of the class and giving lectures. For 40 minutes standing over there, giving away a lecture to the students without any interruption from the students is not what a dream come true class for a teacher. We would prefer that the students do ask questions, which helps us to understand that they are able to understand what we are teaching them. Now that is as far as academics is concerned. But a teacher is not just teaching you the subject that is in question. A teacher is also teaching you life, lessons for life. So the day that a teacher feels that today I was able to impact a child's life, I was able to play some very important role in the decision-making process of a child's life. Today, when a child was stuck as to what to do in life, I was able to show some light. I was able to show the path that the child could use to move on. And when you come to know that the child was able to overcome the situation because of you, that becomes the day as a good day for a teacher. When the teacher goes back and sits and relaxes at home, he or she looks back, rewinds the whole thing, and when he or she finds that, yes, I did impact a child's life today, oh, you don't know how happy that teacher feels that day. No matter how tough it was, how exhausting the day was, but this one thought makes the day. Thank you.
We completely agree with what you said, sir. In fact, even for us students, the most fun classes are the ones where we get to express ourselves and our thoughts and have discussions and interactions in general. So, thank you for your input. And we're actually glad to know that it goes both ways.
Yes, we actually are. But with the whole pandemic situation happening right now, it's been a challenge for teachers to keep their classes interactive, among other things. Since everyone has
yes.
moved online, let's see how COVID-19 has altered a teacher's professional as well as personal life.
Thank you, Fatima and Sakina, for this question. You both are doing a wonderful job with the podcast. First of all, happy Teachers' Day to all the amazing teachers in the world. Well, due to this pandemic, conducting online classes was a great challenge for us teachers as we were not used to the technology and various softwares. Taking classes through laptops and mobile devices got a bit too hectic. But slowly we learned the features. We discussed in our meetings about methods and how to conduct interactive classes with interesting activities, as well as how to control the class through a screen, which was quite tough in the beginning. But we got used to it and classes were more disciplined eventually. I personally prefer quizzes using the Kahoot app than Nearpod quizzes, as these are a great help for us teachers. Now coming to assignments and assessments, it was a big task to check students' work because after classes, checking homework and everything was added screen time. Well, time management was key, so I just divided my papers into 2-3 days of corrections, and that was a big relief for me. To be honest, Managing online classes with my 4-year-old daughter was easier since physically going to the school was not an option. When I was out, she would stay at home, and as a mother, it was obviously worrying since she's so young. But at home, taking care of her and managing classes is a fun task for me. And yes, she did make appearances in my classes, and that was a hilarious moment for me and my students. But it was all a matter of adapting to the situation, and I feel like most of the teachers out there did that. Thank you very much.
Like ma'am rightly said, we've definitely seen teachers use some very innovative tools in our classes to liven up the lesson. And another thing that has definitely livened up the classes are the surprise appearances by the little ones.
Yes, definitely.
So, thank you, ma'am, for letting us know what really goes on behind the scenes in the life of a teacher.
Yeah. So, one benefit for teachers during online teaching is the fact that they no longer have to remember names of their students, since it's always displayed on the screen.
True.
But that was not the case in the traditional classroom system, where a single teacher taught hundreds of students in a year. So, as a college teacher who deals with hundreds of students on a daily basis, this teacher knows the name of all her students. And I can't help but ask, ma'am, how do you manage to remember so many names correctly?
My passion for teaching makes my students an integral part of my profession. Teachers would not exist without students. I love teaching because it is a learning process. Sharing my knowledge with my students is indeed rewarding. I personally feel that I should know every student I teach by their names. When the student is called out by his or her name, it gives them a sense of recognition, or in other words, it helps to boost their confidence. For me, every child in my class matters. I respect every student, and so I learn each of their names, as a name portrays the individual's identity. For me personally, every student has their own identity, so I prefer calling them by their names. Coming to your question, every year we look forward to new students, which in turn means new names. Moreover, while taking attendance, I prefer to call out each child's name rather than their roll number. As attendance is taken on a daily basis, it is an advantage for me to remember every student by their name. Lastly, the 3 R's I follow as well as encourage my students to follow are read, revise, and recall, which helps us in every aspect of our lives.
Wow. Thank you, ma'am, for that great response, in addition to the amazing 3 hours tip.
Yes, I'm actually going to remember that. But to think of it, remembering names is not the only challenge that teachers face. On a daily basis, they also have to deal with other needs of a student. Let's hear it from Miss Arwa Mufaddal, who is a teacher in the kindergarten department, and what she thinks is the hardest part about being a teacher.
Being a teacher, the hardest thing I feel is to deal with children and their young minds. They have different moods of their own. A teacher deals with 30 to 40 different moods, and sometimes we have to roll and laugh and make them play. It is compulsory for us to be always cheerful and smiling as we act as a role model for them. Although the picture behind this isn't the same. One another thing is that teachers face a lot of pressure from the respective higher authorities. Sometimes we don't even get time to make up for our families. We are so busily invested in our work all the time with our full sincerity and dedication, but we don't get enough in return. Especially in this pandemic situation, we are facing a lot of criticism from everywhere. All I want to say is it's easy to criticize someone unless you are in their place. So always respect, love, and appreciate your teachers.
Thank you, ma'am. That was definitely a different perspective for our students. Indeed, teaching is a very underrated profession, and honestly, teachers do not get enough appreciation and support. In spite of that, they continue to work selflessly for their students. Ma'am, we just want you to know that these two pupils definitely appreciate all that a teacher does for a student, and we are sure most of our listeners do as well.
Yes, absolutely. Now, moving on to our next question, which was directed towards Mrs. Sahana Arif, a veteran teacher and principal of my alma mater, Vidyashal Public School. Ma'am, what have been some of the most significant changes in the education system during your time as an educator? And what changes do you hope to see in the system in the future?
Hello, Sakina and Fatima. Thank you for calling me to speak to your listeners. It is indeed an honor to be a part of your podcast honoring teachers on this special day. My best wishes to all teachers. I appreciate the good work both of you have been doing. Sakina, you have been a good student, and as a former head girl, I am glad to see that you have imbibed all the values from our great school. In addition, I am extremely happy to see that you are furthering the linguistic skills that you excelled in as a student. As your teacher, I am proud to see what you are doing, and it's my pleasure to be a part of the program. Now, to the first part of your question. Well, it has been over 2 decades that I have been mentoring school children, and have during these years I have seen paradigm shift from a teacher centric education system to a student centric system. This evolved on account of a change from exam centric to activity based system. Modern technology, free availability of information, in addition, emotional and psychological needs in children have played a big role in bringing about the change. Over the years, the government has been bringing about various changes in educational system. To start with, we had a major change in the assessment system when the CBSE introduced the continuous comprehensive evaluation. The introduction of CCE changed the old concept of rote learning to a more practical learning with understanding. We have now given equal importance to co-scholastic activities therein. It gives an opportunity for the students to explore new avenues other than the traditional stream of education. In addition, various concepts like art integration, experiential learning, introduction of vocational subjects, and so on. Look at the present pandemic situation. It has revolutionized the system with the advent of online and e learning. This has brought about new challenges to both the teachers and students. As about the changes that I would like to see in the future, one likes to see the system evolve to a global level at par with the best practices in the world with a focus on research and practical learning. With the introduction of National Educational Policy 2020, I hope that we see further changes in the system towards this goal. The National Educational Policy 2020 will bring about major changes in senior secondary level wherein the traditional streams are being done away with and students will be in a position to choose any subject of their interest. We hope to see the system being implemented as envisaged. The college level education too is going to change with the introduction of a 4-year program and providing options to students to learn the subjects as per their choice. I hope that you as a students do benefit from these changes. I wish you both the best in all your future endeavors. Continue the good work you are doing. God bless. Thank you.
Ma'am, first of all, Thank you very much for your kind words and support. And secondly, for such a deeply informative and insightful answer. The education system has definitely undergone many changes over the years and in very recent times as well. And we hope to address those issues in our upcoming episodes.
Yes. So now, for the final question of our unique Q&A with our teachers, we asked a power couple, Mr. Mustafa Mehmoon and Mrs. Farida Mehmoon, the former being the principal of Jamali English Medium School in Ahmedabad, and the latter a teacher at the same school. Where would they take their students if they could take them on a field trip to anywhere in the world?
The word "field" and "trip" are a very powerful combination of overarching ideas which subtly means a blend of work with pleasure. Well, I'd like to take my children to the headquarters of United Nations Geneva to acquaint them about the magnanimity and solidarity of the challenges that are prevalent globally and how do nations align together to solve them with negotiations, bargains, and other subjects of national interest that eventually leads to drafting of some conclusive resolutions which would allow all nations to be the beneficiary of the same. When we nurture the traits of being global citizens in Gen Z, I personally feel it is inevitable for them to understand how problems need to be dealt by delving deep into the root causes and working around solutions, nevertheless latching on to something which serves not only a domestic purpose but a community at large. It fosters the culture of designed thinking in students, and I'd love to facilitate that in my small and humble capacity. Thank you.
Whoa, that sounds like an exciting trip.
Yes, it sure does.
We thank you both for your response and this amazing suggestion. If you are to take your students to Geneva someday, then Sakina and I would love to join in as well.
Absolutely. Now, with this, we have come to the end of this thought provoking and fun question and answer session. We would have loved to talk to more teachers, but due to time constraints, we could only speak to 9 of them. But to the 9 of you who spared your precious time, especially since it is back to school season, we are truly grateful for your involvement and the wonderful responses. Fatima and I really enjoyed talking to you all about non-academic things and learning so much as always.
Yes, we did. To every single teacher who has taught us, to every teacher listening to this, and to every teacher out there, on behalf of all the pupils, we as two pupils want to say a huge, heartfelt thank you. Now, Sakina had written this amazing, heartwarming poem for all teachers out there, and it's only fitting to recite a snippet from the poem today. So, over to you.
This poem was titled Made Us Who We Are. Thank you, teachers, for being there at times when skies were grey. Thank you, teachers, for lending an ear when I had things to say. Someday, when we're old, thinking about the heights that we've reached, in life we have come so far. There'll be some thoughts in our minds and a smile on our faces, and we'll have known that our teachers made us who we are.
Wow, those were some beautiful lines.
Thank you, Fatima.
Yeah, I mean, that was not it. If you really want to read the whole poem, make sure you check out our website.
With that, we've come to the end of our special Teachers' Day celebration episode. Once again, a very happy Teachers' Day to all the phenomenal educators out there. We love and appreciate you.